It's been a few months since the chosen few were able to take their first steps into Elden Ring, thanks to From Software's closed network test, and explore just a small fragment of the open world. With the release date looming large just a few short weeks away, I was given one last chance to explore as far as I could in the lands between. This time there were no barriers to stop me, just a lot of incredibly tough adversaries waiting to kick my ass. Rather than trying to solely progress through Elden Ring's main path that led through incredibly grueling legacy dungeons, I decided to spend my precious 6 hours finding out exactly how the open world really works, and there's a lot more than meets the eye. The first thing I learned after creating my brand new character for my short adventure was how absolutely essential the lands between is as a stepping stone to your journey to become an Elden Lord. There's nothing stopping you from running straight from the tutorial cave to the first main dungeon, but like trying to race right to Ganon from the start in Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's a good chance the enemies of Stormveil Castle will clean the floor with you. Even brimming with confidence from my time in the closed network test, I was swiftly put into my place just trying to get in the dungeon proper. Odds are, if you thought the network test was too easy, you'll be in for a rude awakening when you can't find overpowered gear early on. In that sense, the early regions serve as a proving ground not only to test your mettle against various types of enemies big and small, but also as a veritable treasure trove of rewards hiding all over the place. Like most FromSoft titles, Elden Ring encourages and rewards exploration, and now has much more room for creativity than confined castle corridors. This is even more apparent when taking in the sights of Elden Ring's gorgeous vistas. Seeing the skies cleared to reveal the second region of Liurnia, or stumbling upon a lift down to a mind-bogglingly huge underground ruin, stopped me dead in my tracks with awe. Exploring these vast regions reminded me of how many times we've seen glimpses of the larger worlds that FromSoft has created in their past titles, only now, I actually had the opportunity to explore the breadth of what I was being shown. Not once was I ever remotely told to visit most of these places, and the joys of discovery only grew greater and greater. In fact, I soon realized there was nothing stopping me from bypassing Elden Ring's main legacy dungeons entirely. With a little bit of trial and error while exploring, I was able to slink past not only Stormveil Castle, but later the second main dungeon, the creepy Hogwarts-looking Academy of Raya Lucaria. It made me wonder just how far into the world I could actually get without ever having to face down one of the mighty demigods that ruled each domain. Unlike Dark Souls, where I had to beat my head against a troublesome boss if I wanted to progress, I was free to delve deeper and deeper into the lands between if I felt stuck against a certain encounter. So far, Elden Ring has proved to be vast, but not so much that areas feel overwhelming, thanks to a multitude of checkpoints and large, well-traveled roads that often connect to new areas. That said, it is still a lonely and unforgiving world to traverse. Rather than overwhelm you with map markers full of side attractions, FromSoft seems determined to provide more of what they do best: a variety of challenging enemies, hiding important items and characters off the beaten path, and serving up mysteries and secrets in every corner of the land. It may sound a bit simplistic, and in a way, it is. Arguably, Elden Ring's most open-worldy addition is a crafting system, but even this has been given the FromSoft treatment in a way, as you'll have to hunt down various recipe books to learn how to craft important tools and consumables. From Software's boss Hidetaki Miyazaki recently remarked that they haven't intentionally tried to lower the game's difficulty, but expect more people to beat Elden Ring than their previous titles. After spending a few hours in the lands between, I think I'm starting to understand why. Each of their Souls games let you choose between several starting class archetypes, but once invested in, I sometimes felt like they didn't allow for too much experimenting. Elden Ring's customizable weapon skills seem to change this. In just 6 hours, I'd already amassed quite a collection, finding them stashed all over the world and even sold from a merchant. Each of these could be applied to different types of armaments, and some added damage scaling depending on what attributes I was trying to focus on. This allows for a whole new level of customization, not only to find what skills work best for you, but to swap out skills to experiment with new tactics without having to waste resources to do it. Coupled with the ability to use your focus points for things other than just spellcasting, there's way more forgiveness to find out what works best for you, like letting your magic-averse vagabond dabble in sorcery-infused skills. All these discoveries made me realize that 6 hours is far too little time to scratch the surface of what else is waiting to be discovered. Can I bypass every major dungeon right to the end? Are there more secret regions hiding just out of sight? Where's my complimentary open-world fishing minigame? Thankfully, I won't have long to wait to find out. If you're looking for more Elden Ring to tide you over, check out the first 19 minutes of the closed network test, plus the first major boss fight. For everything else, stick with IGN.